The young and the restless spoilers shock the descent of summer, a pact with darkness. Summer Newman, once the darling of Genoa City, had always been ambitious and headstrong. But ambition has a price, and when her world began to crumble, she found herself standing on the edge of a moral abyss. Her obsession with Kyle Abbott, her husband and the love of her life, had grown toxic, fueled by jealousy and fear of losing him to another woman, Claire. As her envy festered, Summer made a choice that could change everything. She struck a deal with Jordan, a woman whose sinister presence offered both a solution and a threat. Together, they plotted to eliminate Claire and Sharon if necessary, ensuring Summer's dominance in Kyle's life. But this pact with the devil carried a heavy price, one that threatened to destroy everything Summer held dear. Summer's obsession with Kyle. Summer's love for Kyle had always been intense, but it had taken a darker turn. She couldn't stand the sight of Claire, the vibrant and captivating woman who had captured Kyle's attention. Every laugh they shared, every lingering glance, felt like a dagger to Summer's heart. The final blow came when she saw them kiss, a moment of happiness that shattered Summer's fragile composure. In her mind, Claire wasn't just a rival, she was an enemy who had to be removed. Summer's thoughts turned darker with each passing day, and her desperation reached a fever pitch when Jordan entered the picture. Jordan's proposition. Jordan had a knack for sensing vulnerability, and she saw an opportunity in Summer. Meeting her in secret, Jordan wasted no time cutting to the chase. "I know what you want," she said, her voice low and chilling. "You want Claire gone. And Sharon too, if it means cleaning up the mess. I can make that happen." Summer recoiled at the suggestion, but the temptation was undeniable. She tried to feign innocence, but Jordan pressed on, her words slicing through Summer's defenses like a knife. "Don't play coy with me, Summer. You want Kyle all to yourself. I can help you get that. But it comes at a price." Summer hesitated. The thought of aligning herself with someone like Jordan was terrifying, but the idea of losing Kyle was worse. She had worked too hard, sacrificed too much, to let anyone stand in her way. Still, the risk was monumental. If anyone discovered her involvement, she could lose Kyle, her family, her freedom, everything. The devil's bargain. Despite her reservations, Summer agreed. The plan was simple yet ruthless. Jordan would take care of Claire and Sharon, ensuring they were no longer threats. In return, Summer would provide Jordan with access to the resources and information she needed to stay one step ahead of the authorities. It was a dangerous game, one that required both women to tread carefully. Summer's role wasn't passive. She had to manipulate situations, provide cover for Jordan's activities, and ensure that no one grew suspicious. Every move she made felt like walking a tightrope over a pit of fire. The paranoia began to eat away at her. She found herself looking over her shoulder, wondering if someone was watching, waiting to expose her. The weight of guilt. As the plan progressed, Summer's guilt began to manifest in subtle ways. She became more irritable, snapping at Kyle over minor issues. Her once bright demeanor grew shadowed, her smiles forced. Kyle noticed the change but couldn't pinpoint its cause. To him, Summer seemed stressed but refused to open up about what was troubling her. Inside, Summer was unraveling. The thought of Claire and Sharon disappearing filled her with both relief and dread. She knew the cost of her actions could be catastrophic, yet she couldn't bring herself to stop. Her jealousy and fear had taken hold, and she was powerless to resist their pull. The first step toward disaster. Jordan, true to her word, began laying the groundwork for the eliminations. She shadowed Claire and Sharon, learning their routines, identifying vulnerabilities. Meanwhile, Summer played her part, deflecting suspicion and providing Jordan with access to resources only someone with Newman connections could offer. But Summer underestimated the risks. Jordan was unpredictable, and her actions began to draw attention. Claire mentioned feeling like she was being followed. Sharon grew uneasy, sensing that something was off. Their suspicions threatened to unravel the plan before it could come to fruition. The ticking time bomb. As tensions mounted, Summer's fear of exposure reached a breaking point. The pressure was unbearable. Every time Kyle looked at her, she felt like he could see through her facade. Every time her phone rang, she was certain it was someone calling to confront her about her involvement with Jordan. She began to second-guess herself, wondering if she had made a mistake by trusting Jordan. But it was too late to back out. Jordan had made it clear, once the deal was struck, there was no going back. The possible outcomes: exposure and consequences. If Summer's role in the plan is discovered, the fallout would be devastating. Kyle would be horrified, unable to forgive her for stooping so low. The Newman family's reputation would take another hit, and Summer could face prison time. Her dream of a perfect life with Kyle would shatter, replaced by a nightmare of her own making. Jordan's betrayal: Jordan, ever the opportunist, could turn on Summer if the plan goes awry. She might use her knowledge of Summer's involvement as leverage, blackmailing her for more resources or throwing her under the bus to save herself. Success and regret: even if the plan succeeds, Summer's victory would be hollow. The guilt of her actions would haunt her, and the knowledge that she achieved her goals through such dark means could erode her relationship with Kyle from within. A dangerous path forward: Summer's decision to align with Jordan marks a turning point for her character. No longer the bright and ambitious woman she once was, she has allowed jealousy and desperation to lead her down a dark and dangerous path. Her actions may achieve her short-term goals, but the long-term consequences could be devastating. This storyline not only deepens Summer's character but also sets the stage for intense drama and conflict. Will she be exposed? Can she live with the weight of her choices? And, most importantly, will Kyle ever discover the truth about the lengths Summer went to in order to keep him by her side? The answers to these questions could redefine Summer's future in Genoa City, and the lives of everyone around her. A pact with consequences: Summer's poisonous mission. Jordan was elated by her ability to manipulate Summer Newman into joining her dark alliance. For Jordan, every new recruit was another step toward consolidating her power. But as she shared her success with Ian Ward, the mastermind behind the shadowy schemes, she was met with unexpected fury. Ian Ward's warning: "You involved Summer Newman without my permission?" Ian's voice was cold and sharp, cutting through Jordan's triumph like a blade. "Do you even understand the risks?" Jordan shrugged, maintaining her composure despite his growing anger. "She's desperate. She'll do anything to keep Kyle. That's leverage we can use." Ian's expression darkened. "And if she panics? If she betrays us? You've just handed the Newmans a direct link to us. We can't afford a weak link, Jordan." Jordan smirked, her confidence unshaken. "If Summer steps out of line, I'll make sure she regrets it. Permanently." Ian leaned back in his chair, his gaze unrelenting. "You'd better hope you're right. If she fails, it's not just her life on the line, it's ours." A deadly assignment. Jordan knew she had to prove Summer's loyalty, and she wasted no time testing her newest recruit. She called Summer to a secluded location, her tone ice-cold as she laid out the plan. "Claire needs to go," Jordan said bluntly. "You'll take care of it." Summer's stomach churned at the words, but she masked her fear. "How?" Jordan handed her a small vial of clear liquid. "Poison. Slip this into her drink. It's tasteless, odorless, and fast-acting. You're the only one who can get into the Newman estate without raising suspicion." Summer stared at the vial, her hands trembling. "You're asking me to kill someone?" Jordan's gaze hardened. "No, I'm telling you to kill someone. If you want Kyle to yourself, this is the price. And remember, if you don't do this, or if you even think about betraying me, you'll wish you hadn't." The pressure mounts back at home. Summer wrestled with her decision. The poison vial burned a hole in her pocket, a constant reminder of the line she was about to cross. She thought of Kyle, his warmth and charm, and convinced herself that this was the only way to secure their future together. But the thought of taking a life filled her with dread. She imagined the fallout if she were caught. Her family, her reputation, her freedom, everything she had worked for would be gone. And yet, the fear of disappointing Jordan and Ian was even greater. She knew they wouldn't hesitate to eliminate her if she failed them. Summer steeled herself. "This is for Kyle," she whispered, trying to convince herself. "I have no choice." Breaking into Newman Manor that night, Summer slipped into the Newman estate under the guise of visiting her family. Her heart pounded as she made her way to the kitchen, clutching the poison vial tightly. She moved with practiced ease, her familiarity with the estate allowing her to avoid detection. Claire's water glass sat on the counter, untouched. Summer approached it, her hands trembling as she uncapped the vial. The liquid poured into the glass soundlessly, merging with the water as though it had never existed. As she replaced the glass on the counter, a voice startled her from behind. "Summer? What are you doing?" A close call. Summer spun around to see Abby Newman standing in the doorway, her arms crossed and a curious look on her face. Summer forced a nervous smile. "Just grabbing a drink for Claire," she said, holding up the glass. "She asked me to bring it to her." Abby raised an eyebrow but didn't press further. "Okay, just don't spill it. The last thing we need is another mess in here." Summer laughed awkwardly, excusing herself as quickly as possible. Her heart raced as she carried the poisoned glass toward Claire, who was sitting in the living room with Kyle. The moment of truth. As Summer approached, she hesitated. Claire looked so serene, so unaware of the danger that loomed over her. Kyle, seated beside Claire, glanced up and smiled warmly at Summer. "Hey, thanks for the water," Claire said, reaching for the glass. Summer's hand shook slightly as she handed it over. This was it. The moment everything would change. But as Claire lifted the glass to her lips, Summer's conscience screamed at her to stop. "Wait." Summer blurted, startling both Claire and Kyle. "What's wrong?" Claire asked, lowering the glass. Summer scrambled for an excuse. I think I grabbed the wrong glass. Let me get you a fresh one." Kyle frowned, concerned. "Summer, are you okay? You seem off." "I'm fine," she lied, snatching the glass from Claire's hands. "Just tired, that's all." The fallout. Summer retreated to the kitchen, dumping the poisoned water down the sink. She couldn't go through with it. The thought of taking Claire's life, of living with that guilt, was too much to bear. But now she faced an even greater danger, Jordan and Ian's wrath. When Jordan found out that Summer had failed to complete the mission, she would undoubtedly act. Summer knew she had made herself a target, but she also knew she couldn't let the darkness consume her completely. As Summer left the Newman estate, she resolved to find a way out of the mess she had created. But with Jordan and Ian watching her every move, escaping their grasp would be nearly impossible. A dangerous path ahead. Summer's decision to spare Claire sets the stage for a high-stakes confrontation with Jordan and Ian. Her refusal to follow through on their orders not only puts her own life in jeopardy but also risks exposing the entire operation. As the walls close in, Summer must decide whether to come clean and face the consequences or continue playing a dangerous game to protect herself. Will Summer find a way to redeem herself, or has she already gone too far to turn back? One thing is certain, her actions will have far-reaching consequences, not just for herself but for everyone in Genoa City.